Welcome to this video tutorial series on law and legal research. This course has been developed by the James J. Lunsford Law Library to help Hillsborough County residents learn about the legal system and how to use print and digital resources provided by the Hillsborough County Public Library Cooperative. My name is Bill Spradlin. I am the Paralegal Specialist at the James J. Lunsford Law Library, located in Hillsborough County, Florida. I will be your guide for this two-part tutorial pertaining to legal forms. The intent of this video is strictly educational. It is always best to consult an attorney about the legal rights and responsibilities for your specific situation. This is part 4, video 1 of our video tutorials, how to find legal forms using online resources. The most common questions we get at the law library deal with legal forms. Finding legal forms can be a more involved process than many would think. A standardized fill-in-the-blank form is the exception, not the rule. This means forms must often be modified or created from scratch. Ready-made forms, such as the petition for injunction shown here on the left, are few and far between. Often you will only find sample suggested language as seen here on the right, which comes from a form book. In this video, our focus will be on online resources. Digital and print resources are covered in Part 4, Video 2. Court and clerk report websites offer great starting points when looking for legal forms. Different courts, clerks, and other official websites have approved forms, but the forms vary by jurisdiction. This means you may find a form from another jurisdiction that you would have to modify to submit to the clerk of the court here in Hillsborough County. Google can be your friend, but like everything on the internet, consider the source. There are not sample forms for every situation. You may have to create your own form from scratch. The clerk of courts has forms covering multiple topics. Some are in packets that also include instructions. Forms are full-size, and if the language fits, can be used as is. In Hillsborough County, the main office for the clerk of the court is at 801 East Twig Street in the George Edgecombe Courthouse. There are other locations that accept limited filings. You can call the clerk's office at area code 813-276-8100 to find out which location you would have to file at, or if you can establish a Hover account for electronic filing. The 13th Judicial Circuit page is another place to look for forms created for use in Hillsborough County. Check both clerks and court sites from other circuits as well. If from another jurisdiction, you will have to modify language to fit the court you are filing with. Florida has Supreme Court approved family law, landlord-tenant, probate, and guardianship forms. However, even within those topics, not all situations are covered. If the form you need does not exist, you will have to create the original form yourself, just as an attorney would do. As mentioned at the beginning of this video, often ready-made forms do not exist. There is a wide variety of family law forms for use in Florida. If there isn't a form that fits your needs, the samples will give you the correct format so that you can create your own form. The Florida Supreme Court approved landlord-tenant forms are found on the Florida Bar webpage. You will not find them on the Florida Court's website with family law forms. Forms are full-size, ready to print and fill out. There is also a guided tutorial on how to create an eviction response put together by the Jacksonville Area Legal Aid. Since this is under state law, not a local ordinance or regulation, the information can be helpful no matter what circuit you are filing in. There are official probate and guardianship forms, but unlike the family law and landlord-tenant forms, they are not readily available online without using a pay service. If you do not know the correct official form number, customers can come to the law library and staff can refer you to probate and guardianship treatises, where you can do the research to determine which forms you need. In part 2 of this series, we will cover Gale Legal Forms, which does have a package for summary administration, our most requested item. This 34-page packet is for use when the estate is valued at $75,000 or less, excluding any homesteaded real property. Some public defender sites have sample forms for criminal issues. As shown here, the 13th Judicial Circuit Public Defenders has a Forms button on their welcome page. Forms for criminal situations are particularly hard to find. These full-size, fill-in-the-blank forms, such as a motion for return of property or motion to modify or terminate community control, have been created for those filing without an attorney. Like Clerk of the Courts and courts web pages, different public defenders will have different forms. Some federal forms are available from the court's web page. As seen on the left, the Middle District Court has sample complaints as well as other forms. On the right is the United States Courts of Appeals for the 11th Circuit, which has a pro se handbook, forms, and more. While rare, pro se cases have been accepted to the United States Supreme Court. However, there are no official pro se forms or instructions. Pro se appellees are held to the same rigid standard as an attorney would be. We are going to use the topic of annulment on our Google search for sample forms. There are no Florida Supreme Court approved forms, and neither the Clerk of the Court nor the Court Administrator has created a form for Hillsborough County. If you Google Florida annulment forms, you will find that the 13th Judicial Circuit does not have a form, but the 14th Judicial Circuit does. Forms from other jurisdictions can be used as a drafting guide to create a form to file in your jurisdiction. As highlighted on the annulment form shown on the right side, the customer would have to change any references that do not apply to the circuit they are filing in. It is up to the clerk's office to say if you can white out or cross through this information. It is possible that you may have to rewrite the whole form. For your reference, here are the web addresses for the form sites we covered in today's tutorial. If you are viewing this from your device, you may want to bookmark these pages. Now you can see that finding legal forms can be frustrating and time-consuming. Going pro se is not easy. When acting as your own attorney, you will have to do everything an attorney would do for you. Fortunately, the Law Library provides access to online, digital, and print material to guide you. Staff is always happy to help you understand how to use these resources, but we are not attorneys and cannot choose forms, help fill out forms, or review forms created by or filled in by the customer. Regardless of what form you are searching for, the best advice is to always stick with official clerk or court websites when possible. I hope this tutorial has been helpful. Part 4, Video 2 covers digital resources and print material for legal forms.